Okay, so March is Women's History Month, and it's an annual declared month that highlights the contributions of women in history and contemporary society. And it's celebrated in March in the United States, Australia and the UK, and it corresponds with International Women's Day on March 8th. So we actively support women in logistics, indeed I am one, and encouraging an equal proportion of men and women in our historically male-dominated industry. I think industry stats are about 26% of female sort of employment in logistics, whereas we've got over 50% female employment in diamond logistics. So I'd like to share a few reasons how and why we do this, and talk to some of the key women in my logistics business. So here with me today I've got Becky Agent, who won our last year's Women in Logistics Award, our Director of Network Operations, Natalie Waring, our Head of Executive Support and HR, Charlotte, and our rising star in finance, Zoe. So first of all, guys, what made you think of a career in logistics?
For me, I absolutely wanted to challenge the status quo. So I like to make a difference, and I absolutely like getting my teeth stuck into something that the bulk of people think you aren't going to be successful in.
And what about you, Zoe?
I think mine was a little bit more for you. Like, I knew that you worked here and I'd heard about you a little bit more, and then it made me sort of driven to work. Same again as kind of in a career, which is mostly men, and then just sort of fight it a little bit.
Hit your stamp on it.
Yeah.
That's very flattering, if not somewhat embarrassing. Thank you. And what about you, Becky? Because you were very persistent in getting a job here.
A little bit,
yeah.
That was more the
very
advert.
passionate about it.
Yeah, the advert stood out to me. So,
Great.
And then obviously when I met you, and you explained everything, then just felt like it was something I wanted
And
to
how
get
long have you
involved
been part of our journey for now?
in. Nearly 6 years.
Yeah, there you go. And this is your longest job ever?
By far.
Exactly. Cool. And Charlotte, what about you? What brought you into the logistics world?
So I've come back from a very corporate kind of background, and I really wanted to challenge myself in terms of different skills, different industry, and getting kind of my teeth into something. And there's no better place than an SME to do that, because you can see something all the way through. There's no part of the business that you don't go to understand within an SME.
Brilliant. So does anyone here think that gender has impacted on our job roles, or is gender an irrelevance here at Diamond? And this is the time to be honest about it as well.
I think Diamond itself, we're so open to anyone, despite their gender, their race, their class. I don't think in our little business itself we have any issues with gender. I think the industry, as you said, with those statistics, certainly does. And I think if anything we have a positive impact. So we have a positive gender empowerment here that's kind of helping to change the industry for the better.
Yeah, I think the most important trait that we've got here at Diamond is that we advocate equality.
Absolutely.
So equality means, the same rights for men as well as for women. So if we had a man who had children at home and he needed work time flexibility, or indeed we've had one of our members quite recently stating that he wanted life balance, so therefore wanted to go part-time, that means that those same rules have got to apply regardless of who it is. People could be caring for elderly parents as well as young children, as well as having all sorts of responsibilities. So it's about equality, not about gender, really, is
absolutely.
it? And what about you, Zoe?
I don't see any kind of gender. It doesn't matter what or who you are, you rise based on your skills. So
Very much a meritocracy. I'm really glad to hear that. And what about you, Becky?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely more male dominant in the whole industry, but here it's definitely equal, if not more women, really. We've got women at the top, in all of the different areas. We've got women in the warehouse, so there's no gender. Just it's not relevant, really.
No, absolutely. What about you, Charlotte? What do you think?
I don't think that it even really comes into the equation, especially here at Diamond, in terms of the role that you do. Oh, you're doing that because you're male. It's, what are your skill sets? How well do you do that job? And it's also, it gives that aspect of looking at things in a different way. So because we do have a lot of women within Diamond here, we see different things than what other logistics companies do as well.
Nice. So has anyone faced any discrimination in your job roles here? Not necessarily from the people within the team, but in terms of dealing with other suppliers, or dealing with franchises or anything to that effect?
Yeah, I mean, I've had an incident with one of the carrier networks. Again, it's it's terrible to say, but it is the typical approach you would expect in this industry from people that have been in it a long time, especially those that started at the bottom and worked their way up. Dare I say, the industry is quite incestuous. People know each other. They move roles together or move companies together, and they always stay interlinked. And then when you get new blood coming in, I don't necessarily think it was so much because of my gender. I think it was just new blood into the industry who comes with a different set of skills and a different perspective, and that almost sort of sets them rocking a little bit.
Well, you'll be pleased to know the last time I did a supplier meet was for a workwear company. And not only did he accidentally flash up a porn page on his phone for me to review, he actually thought I was the secretary as well. So that was really great.
I got the your belly out of nappies one.
Lovely. What about you, Zoe? Any impact at all?
Not really here, but I wouldn't say that I do a lot of face-to-face with suppliers. It's generally sort of emails and things like that. So I don't feel like I've had any kind of negativity based on my gender. It's just once again just your skill set here. So
yeah, same for me. I've been quite lucky and there's not been anything negative.
And you, Charlotte?
I think when I've gone to events through Diamond, there's always been and what's your job role? And then you say your job role and they're always a bit, okay. And you kind of then see them, I don't know, get a little bit ruffled almost because they'd not realised or talked down to you, and then there's that little bit of embarrassment.
And it's quite nice seeing all the surprise on their faces, really, isn't it? So, and in terms of what support Diamond gives you in terms of being a woman in logistics, what do you think is offered there? Start with you, Becky.
Yeah, I mean it's celebrated, isn't it? So that's like the main thing, and I think the fact that it's irrelevant really is the main thing. You can just build yourself up, and it's
Okay, great. Zoe?
Yeah, well, I'm fully supported by Diamond Logistics in training, studying, everything, in learning everything that I need to from day one, and it's just been amazing to have that. And yeah, that didn't matter at all what kind of gender I was. So yeah, because also obviously we have Zane, who I work with. We are exactly the same, so we get everything the same. It doesn't matter.
What about you, Natalie?
Yeah, I mean, I think we absolutely champion women in logistics, and I think we're right to do so. But what's really important to point out is that we champion everybody for their individualities. We champion departments, people's skill sets, their opinions, their views. And the real reason we have to focus on gender is because there is such a disparity within the industry. And we have to be the ones that are paving the way for the future.
What about you, Charlotte?
I think, like Natalie said, we absolutely support everyone, and we do encourage people to challenge themselves. When I first started here, the role that I started in was very much different to where I am now, and it's in fact moulded me and where my career is going in the future. And I think that's what Diamond does really well, is that they look at the person, they look at the skills, and just because you're recruited in that role doesn't necessarily mean that you're put in that box and you'll forever be left in that box. No matter your gender, no matter your age, you're encouraged, supported, and given the opportunity to be the very best that you can.
I think it's interesting when people join an organisation that it's part of our key in terms of managing our teams is looking as they grow and thrive. Like you've moved from department to department, haven't you? But making sure the right people are on the right bus, and if their skill sets change and all the business requirements change, it's moving that through. I mean, Becky, talk about your journey throughout the business. You started doing cinema logistics, and then on to
and then customer service, and then a bit of customer service and operations, and now network support. So,
absolutely, and moving on to network support and training and launch, etc., etc. So that's been a really diverse and interesting role. So what about plans for the future? What about you, Charlotte?
So I'm currently being supported by Diamond to complete a degree. So I absolutely see my future here moving on as far as I potentially can here. Big aspirations, I think, as most people do. I've got an aim of being a director by the time I'm 40, and I do feel that Diamond will support me in that as much as I can support Diamond, and we can grow together.
Cool. What about your plans for the future and the opportunity you've got here?
Yep, so we've got lots of exciting things happening, which I'm hoping to be a key part of at the moment, so hopefully that will just continue.
Cool.
As we get bigger and bigger.
What about you, Zoe? What are your plans for the future?
So this year I've finished my AAT level 3, and that's just spurred me on to obviously start my SEMA this year. So I don't really put a ceiling on what I want to do, and that's the great thing about Diamond is there isn't any kind of ceiling, because even if I reached kind of the top of where I wanted to go, it's still, well, you can move around. There's other bits and pieces, and I know so much now about business because of Diamond. So yeah, just continue learning.
What about you, madam? Plans for the future?
To continue to develop my skills within the operations, learn more about the individual departments within Diamond, but really just be your shadow if you were run for your money in a few years' time.
Please feel free to take my seat at this table. So I'm quite happy to retire up to chair anytime soon. So finally, starting from Natalie, coming back around this way, what advice would you give to any women wanting to get in what historically is a very tough business? Because there have been times where it's been tough.
Yeah, believe in their ability, and you have to remember that you're stronger as a team. So you have to stand together. You have to stand united. You know, it's healthy to bat ideas around, but you've all got to be on the same path, and you've all got to have each other's backs.
Great. What about you, Zoe?
And just be yourself and be confident in who you are, because that's the person who's going to get you to the end. So yeah, just completely be yourself and be trustworthy in yourself.
And what about you, Becky?
Yeah, same really, and don't be afraid to stand up and say what you want and go for it, really.
I think that's a key bit, actually. One of the things we've really noticed is that Becky doesn't get too much jip from people, but I don't think that's because they've got a respect for you, and I think that's a respect that's been hard earned. But you need to stand up for the respect that you deserve as well. What about you, Charlotte?
Not be afraid of the logistics industry and everything that comes with it. You know, break the mould, challenge yourself. Not be afraid of your weaknesses as well, because they can also be a strength. Like Natalie said, work as a team and just truly believe in yourself, because if you believe in yourself, others will as well.
Absolutely. Well, basically, we've just got to woman up, haven't we? That's it from Diamond HQ. Thanks.